This is the Perfect Being. I'm here to tell you all to subscribe to the perfect channel, UnrealEntGaming. Please remember to turn on your notifications to be the first to know about the latest in Dragon Ball news and information. And if you don't, very soon you will all be dead, along with your entire planet.
Dragon Ball Super Episode 95 is now officially in the history books as we move on forward into Dragon Ball Super Episode 96, finally beginning the Tournament of Power. And joining me here today to tackle the subject of Dragon Ball Super Episode 96 is DevilArtemis and Emish is live, as we're going to be sharing our thoughts and our predictions going into next week's episode. And again, I do want to let you guys know that if you guys have opinions of your own to share, or if you guys have any other predictions of your own, drop your thoughts down in the comment section below. And again, as always, this video will contain massive amounts of spoilers going into episode 96. So boys, we just came off of a very, very interesting episode, and seeing Golden Frieza and just slaughtering and clearing house with those assassins. And we saw episode 96's preview of the other respective gods who are not competing in engaging in a one-on-one battle, in a massive battle amongst each other. So with next week's episode approaching and everyone having to gather at the World of Void, I wanted to get your thoughts as to what you guys feel is going to happen, because based on episode 96's preview, we get to see Frieza having to mumble something to Frost. We see how Jiren finally arrives, Toppo's there. We saw many other characters, the Kais are there. Everyone is gathered up together, and Goku seems to be a little antsy. I don't know if you guys noticed in the preview, because I'm sure he wants to get things started right away. So I wanted to start with Emish. So Emish, I wanted to get your thoughts going into next week. What are your overall expectations? What are your thoughts? And first and foremost, having to look at the gods fight, what do you think about that? Because I don't think we've seen gods fight, legitimate gods of destruction's fight, since Beerus and Champa at the baseball game, and then prior to that was when they had the meeting over on Beerus's planet. So in terms of those gods, why do you think they're fighting, and what is your overall expectation for that? Because I'm hyped, so I wanted to get your thoughts on the matter.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the gods of destruction fight as well. Ever since they were first introduced, I always wanted to see what it would look like and what would happen if they fought each other.
Legit,
granted,
too, yeah.
Yeah, but granted that they're fighting in the World of Void, it just seems like that's the only legitimate place where they could actually do that without putting anything at risk, right?
Right.
So I feel like the reason they're fighting is because they're trying to kill off whatever time they have left to entertain Zeno-sama until everybody joins and shows up to the World of Void. So that's what I feel about that. I'm definitely excited to see that. I cannot wait for that specific scene. The whole, like you mentioned, the whole conversation between Frost and Frieza, that's going to be interesting as well. I imagine Frieza would be kind of interested to see what he can do, what Frost can do in the Tournament of Power as well.
Of course.
But definitely the Hakai fighting is what I big expectations for that. Is it going to last long? Of course not. I think they're going to try to hype up everybody by showing off the rest of the characters that we've yet to see in the participating universes that we've yet to see from the tournament. So
right.
I think they're gonna give us maybe like 2, 3, 4 minutes tops of like some fighting, and then like a sparring match here and there, just to entertain Zeno-sama. Then after that, it's gonna go right into everybody showing up, and then they're gonna stop, and that's that.
And I think it makes sense to have the gods fight in a place where you can't really do damage, because if you remember, the reason why Beerus and Champa as gods were not allowed to fight in either universe is because whenever they fight, they destroy, planets, solar systems and stuff. So it was pretty intense. But now we have a place where they can fight and there aren't any repercussions. So Artemis, I wanted to ask you, what are your overall thoughts and expectations for that? Because I've checked back on my previous videos, and there were some people that were excited. A couple of people are saying it doesn't make sense, because why would you have the gods fight now just for entertainment when you can have them legitimately fight in the tournament together? Which I still agree on, because if your universe is on the line, bro, I mean, you're gonna have to fight for survival. But just looking at the respective ones that aren't competing, what are your thoughts on seeing that in the preview, and what do you hope to see when you see them fight?
Well, I mean, with the gods of destruction, now that they're gonna have that little sparring match, I mean, I'm excited to see the gods of destruction, because since the beginning of this whole introduction of the god rank, we haven't really gotten a chance to see the gods in action. Like, they haven't, aside from Beerus's fight with Goku,
right.
We haven't gotten to see any of the other gods. We've never really seen a god in its full power, full potential, and I feel like they're doing this just kind of as a way of fan service, in a way, in a male's perspective.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, Beerus, not Beerus, but whoever these gods of destruction are going to go at it. Since they're fighting another god of destruction and not a mortal, they're going to have to go 100%. You get what I'm saying? So they're probably doing this to really show us how strong a god of destruction really is, and I'm excited for it. I really can't wait to see it. It's to test the arena, right? It was to test
I mean,
the arena.
that's what I'm guessing, because
Right.
I mean, with so many fighters, I'm guessing that probably Daishinkan wants to reinsure that the ring is stabilized. So why not have the top dogs duke it out? And which I think it makes sense, because having everyone gather together and just pretty much putting on like a curtain jerker match, and just having to perform well enough, I'm pretty sure that Goku is going to be very amazed. He's probably going to want in, as always, because it's Goku. And I think that it kind of fits the narrative here. I mean, having the gods fight, because it's the only place where you can see not just two gods fight. Yo, there's like 3 or 4 of them going at it. I mean, legit.
Yeah, all four.
All 4 of them. Like, they're duking it out. So that's awesome, and it's every man for themselves. Granted, I think that, and I love how Daishinkan protects himself in like this aura like bubble, and we see destruction all around the ring, and he's just smiling, he's watching it. That's the influence he has. So my thoughts on it is that I think, as you said, it is fan service, because we've all been saying, well, why aren't the gods fighting? What's going on? And now we're finally getting that, at least to some degree. But what I also wanted to ask you guys is, how did you guys feel about Jiren's presence? Because I noticed that towards the end of episode 95, we see him standing by the edge of like this cliff, and no, he's not going to commit suicide, but he's definitely looking out in the distance, and we see him in the ring, his back turned, and then at the very end, this like white aura around him. So I want to get back to Emish. So Emish, looking at that, right, and looking at what we said a couple of weeks ago about there being a mortal that was, capable of contesting against God, do you still believe that that's possibly Jiren, or has your mind kind of like shifted in the idea that if we're seeing the other 4 gods who aren't a part of this fight, maybe there is someone else out there that might be that very mortal that we spoke about? But in terms of Jiren, looking at him, what do you expect to see from him next week? And do you think that, in fact, having a look at him now, that happens to be the very same mortal that Whis was referencing to?
Well, there's a couple of reasons that we could, potentially come up with that might allow us to figure out, well, maybe Jiren isn't this character, right?
Right.
And I think the main reason, like the main credible reason, is the fact that you have the top 4 universes,
right?
Who, if we look at their character bio sheets from the actual Hakai, they actually, some of them value the balance of both quality of life and power.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So with that, you can only imagine that, well, perhaps it would only make sense that one of these 4 gods, primarily Jin and maybe even Liquor, if anything, would prioritize the fact that they should have very powerful beings in their universe,
right?
That help them maintain that same order that they want, right? So it makes sense from a godly perspective. I'm not a god, I wouldn't know, but I'm saying if we were to just look at it from a perspective where the gods could choose to do things on their own, right? But look where that's gotten everybody else. They have a low motor right now. But these 4 gods obviously have a better understanding. They have a better understanding with their Kaioshin of what it takes to, maintain a proper universe. And even with that, look, they're still going to fight next week. So they're not entirely exempt, right? It just goes to show that they might be exempt from this tournament, but if something were to hit the fan, they would be very much in the same predicament that everybody else is in, right? But I still feel like Jiren is that character. If you look at the aura, it's kind of reminiscent of when Merge Zamasu was first introduced.
I was gonna say that, yeah.
Yeah, it had the same exact aura. I'm not saying it is Merge Zamasu, or it's like
no, definitely not
equal in strength or something like that. No, but it's just very reminiscent. It kind of reminds you of that, the way he was powering up, because the first time we saw him, he had that red aura when he was meditating.
Yeah.
So and then now we see him and he has like a white kind of aura. So does that have any impact on anything? I doubt it. It's just them trying to make it look like, if you give somebody a white aura in a dark setting, it looks more abstract, right? It sends a more powerful message.
More intense, yeah.
In terms of that, I still think Jiren is that guy, mainly because if a mortal were this strong to be able to surpass Hakai after what happened in this episode, it's really, at this point, it's no surprise. And if you look at the manga, it's not surprised if Jiren is that character. So I don't know. I would say I still think it's Jiren, because like you said when we did our video together, that it wouldn't make sense to have involve someone like this in the greatest tournament in history, in the history of Dragon Ball, at that point in time. So I'll probably do a video covering it soon, hopefully, but I don't think it's needed. I still think it's Jiren, so we'll see.
Artemis, how do you feel about Jiren? Like, what are your overall expectations for him? Because it looked like when Goku saw him in the preview, he got really antsy. So what do you expect to see from him? And do you think that, in fact, that is the same person that Whis was referencing to?
I mean, I feel like Jiren at this point is he's a very anticipated character.
He's very mystique too, right?
Yeah, and you know, aside from his perfectly sculpted abs and
yeah, and his luscious buttocks.
And his perfect biceps. I believe that.
Oh, Cell's here. Yeah, let's get Cell's take on this.
You know, I believe that Jiren is probably going to be one of the most sexy competitors, aside from myself, of course.
Does he have the perfect body?
He has the perfect body, of course. Yes, the booty cheeks of justice. Yes.
That's gonna get him the win.
The perfect butt cheeks.
No, but honestly, I think that Jiren is going to be a character that is probably going to have one of the most badass fights with Goku. I think that's the only purpose that he's serving here. He probably is. In one of my videos, I stated that I don't think that Jiren is going to be that character who's stronger than the Gods of Destruction.
Right.
But to be honest, I feel like something's going to hit us, you know, something that we don't expect. And I'm pretty sure that Frieza is going to be a big part of this arc.
Oh, I was gonna get into that right after this because I think that he plays a very, very prominent role now. But in terms of Jiren, it's just a while back, and this is what's funny. I asked everyone, so who would be dumb enough, right? If there was somebody to be dumb enough to enter the Tournament of Power and try to oppose 2 Omni Kings, 4 guards, 12 gods, 12 angels, and 80 fighters. And it turns out that that very person might actually be Frieza. As dumb as that may seem, as crazy as that may seem, this episode pretty much solidified that we might actually have a legitimate villain. A villain who is a part of the team, but he camouflages himself in being very deceptive. And Emish, me and you did a video way back in February when we spoke about demons wearing the masks of angels and there being, you know, lots of deception going on. It makes sense now because look who we have on the team. Someone who foddered everybody, and plus, he was able to do something with Cedric's attack that pretty much got a lot of people up in controversy. So what I wanted to ask both of you is, do you guys think that prominently Frieza is going to do some shady shit in betraying his universe, or maybe even, you know, doing something to where he attacks Goku? Because in this episode, he made it clear this entire time he was in hell, he was mentally concentrating his energy and focusing more on replaying his scenery with him killing Goku over and over and over again. And that's a psychopath. That is a psychopath because even as pointed out by Ro told Cedra, this guy is more of a god of destruction than you are. He's crazy. He's a psycho. He's a traitor. And Cedra was like, well, once a traitor, always a traitor. And I don't think Cedra was wrong. I think once a traitor, always a traitor.
Cedra said that that's what makes him the perfect contestant for his universe.
And rightfully so. That actually might make him the perfect warrior in a setting like this. So what I wanted to ask you guys is, where do you see Frieza in this? Going you know, further after into the Tournament of Power. I want to start with Emish. So after seeing what we saw with quote-unquote true Golden Frieza, where do you see Frieza stand as of right now going forward in this tournament? Because we see him talking to Frost. Maybe there might be some sort of plan, but between the two, I don't know who's more deceptive. I mean, I think looking at how Frost treated everyone in his universe after having to, you know, pillage and destroy and turn people against each other and stuff, and then having to play the good guy role, that seems to be a bit more scummy than what Frieza did, because Frieza would, you know, do it to your face. But going forward into this, where do you see Frieza's placement now in the Tournament of Power?
Well, his placement in terms of strength, or
in terms of strength and motive.
You know, okay, I'm just gonna say it now. Obviously, a lot of people are not gonna agree, and I'm not bashing Frieza. I'm not criticizing anything. All I'm going to say is, if you guys got news that there were gonna be 70 new characters in the Dragon Ball Super series, arguably in the biggest arc in Dragon Ball history, right? The biggest and most anticipated arc in Dragon Ball history. You got news that there were 70 new fighters, right? And you find out that the potential villain for the entire arc was going to be Frieza. How would you, honestly, let me know in the comment section if you guys are okay with this, because right now, we've yet to actually see who the actual villain is. The only person who's thinking this way is Frieza, and it's very much like him. Don't get me wrong. It's very much like Frieza's character to act like a douchebag in this way. He said it in the episode. Even this is the perfect setting where even the gods can be manipulated, right? And he even kind of insinuated that he was going to plot against Beerus and stuff like that, you know, and that's fine. But all I'm saying is the only issue I have with introducing 70 new characters is bringing a character from literally like years ago. Like I must have been like maybe 11, 12 years old when Frieza first came to the scene or something like that. And having him as primarily the biggest influence in terms of a villain, in terms of opposition in this arc, so many years later, maybe like 15 plus years later. And we have Frieza yet again being the primary antagonist potentially for the biggest arc in history. To me personally, it's kind of repetitive. It kind of showcases that they really love Frieza as a character, and I do too, don't get me wrong. I don't like Frieza, I'm not a fan of him, but I can appreciate a good villain when I see one.
Would you say would you say too much too soon from Frieza?
Potentially. He just came back. We just brought him back, and all of a sudden he went from saying my body's gone soft in hell to all now he's more than he's ever been.
I mean, he's a liar. He's always been a liar.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but you see what I'm saying? We find so many excuses to excuse certain things. Earlier today we got information about Goku using the Hakai. Now today we got fucking Golden Frieza literally out-muscling an energy of destruction. It's not a literal Hakai, I get it, but it's an energy of destruction from an actual god of destruction. And he's faking the fact that he's hurting, and then he says, "Ha, just joking," and he out-muscles it. And then you have Beerus later coming to save Goku, and he literally just blows that shit away like a candle on a birthday cake. I mean, the intensity was there. It was great to see that. So much action. The animations were amazing. But it's like, personally, I feel it, and I know a lot of people do too. They might not just want to admit it. They might just want to say, you know what, let's just enjoy Dragon Ball Super. No, I agree with you. I just think that there's way too much power creep right now. And if Golden Frieza is potentially this powerful, going into the Tournament of Power out of the blue, when everybody else had to earn this kind of strength up until recently, besides Universe 6. As far as Universe 7 is concerned, they had to earn their position in this tournament.
Right.
Frieza just, he's been able to use his imagination to get stronger in hell. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Trapped in a cocoon, stuff like that. So I just think it's a little bit too much power creep. I think it would have been okay for Frieza to be maybe the third, fourth, or fifth strongest member on the team. Because if it wasn't for him being this strong, he would never act this way. He wouldn't think about the shit he's thinking about right now. So that's what I'm saying. It goes back to, we have 70 new characters, and once again, Frieza is probably the heavily influenced as to who the antagonist for this arc is going to be. Do I agree with it? I'm not entirely hyped about it, but it is Dragon Ball Super. They love Frieza. I'm just gonna have to see where it goes for me and just sit back and I guess it is what it is. But going into the tournament, I think he's gonna be, like you said, a very, very big player. Much bigger than I anticipated, honestly.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna focus on other characters. I thought the reason they're introducing other characters is so that we can get a chance to appreciate them. But instead, we're back to Golden Frieza.
Back to square one with Frieza.
Yeah, back to square one. So it's interesting, man. I have mixed feelings about it. But it is what it is.
Artemis, what do you think about Frieza, man? What's his motive? How do you feel about him? Because some people are saying, and I'll go based off a few comments, there was a guy named Reginald who said, through mental meditation is how Frieza was able to get so powerful in such a short amount of time. Frieza was able to wield a god's power the way he did through mental meditation, and the idea that he was stuck in hell for so long, he was able to adapt, similar to how Piccolo adapts throughout all these years in being able to keep up with even a Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Through mental meditation, don't forget that Frieza is also a prodigy. So yes, I wanted to ask you this. In terms of his strength, that might be one thing, but I wanted to ask you, like, his positioning and his motive. As of right now, Mr. Artemis, where do you see Frieza going forward in the Tournament of Power?
Well, I mean, Frieza right now, I feel like his motive is basically to manipulate the gods, right? That's why I said earlier that I think Frieza's gonna play a bigger part in this. Everybody's really gonna be focusing on survival, and I feel like the focus is so much on surviving that they're not really going to expect someone like Frieza to maybe make it an inside job. Like maybe he'll work with Frost, like things like that. Like I feel like that's
a conspiracy, right?
Exactly. Like I feel that Frieza is aiming for something a lot bigger. Now I understand what Emish is saying about how, you know, this is an old character and we had him in Resurrection of F. Now he's going to come back again. It's repetitive. So if Frieza were to be the final villain of this arc, I mean, it's interesting to see him back. I'm not saying that I don't enjoy Frieza. I think that it was brilliant to bring him back, and I think it was brilliant that, you know, how he's interacting with these characters, and I love his sense of humor. Like, I love his sense of humor.
He's very sadistic.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Like, he's very sadistic.
Oh, yeah.
He's very like overconfident in everything he does.
They did a great job showcasing that side of him, by the way.
Yeah, they did.
And I feel like, you know, it's like, just kidding. It's like, you know, he's fucking awesome. Like, I love the way.
And the way he was torturing those guys. He was like, tell me what you know. He was like, okay, I'll tell you. And then he was like, nah.
Hey, just kidding. You know, keep yourself quiet so I can enjoy this more.
Yeah, so I can enjoy this a little bit more.
Yeah, like I feel like Frieza right now, definitely a great inclusion to the series. Could it be that, you know, he will be the final villain? I think so, yes. Really at this point I wouldn't be surprised, because, you know, Dragon Ball has been unexpected as of late.
Right.
You know, so I really can't apply, you know, basic common sense to the series anymore. In my opinion, I can't apply common sense to the series. But, you know, other than that, though, I love Frieza. I think, you know, having him back was the best inclusion. If he's the villain, he's definitely going to be repetitive, but I'm still enjoying him for what we got.
So I wanted to ask you guys, going into next week, are we going to see any other sparring matches aside from the gods? Or maybe we might get like another curtain jerker before we actually begin, because you can clearly tell that some people aren't really there yet. I mean, obviously, you know, Kitella has to get there, everyone else has to get there, Jerez, Champa's there. So what I wanted to ask you guys is, do you think that we might actually get some sort of like an inclusion where other people are going to showcase something for Zeno real fast before they begin? Or is this going to be where the gods are going to fight, and then we're going to stop, get everyone together, get everyone in the ring, and then officially begin the week after? What do you guys think? I'm going to start with Emish.
I think after the Gods of Destruction fight, that's pretty much all we're going to get.
That's
we're
it?
going to get some, I think everybody's going to talk about what they're going to do for the strategy. Everybody's going to start feeling each other out. You know, it's classic stuff. It's classic stuff.
Speaking of that, what do you think Beerus' strategy is? Is it to protect Goku, keep Goku safe?
At this point,
I mean, would that be a smart move? Hey, just look after Goku and fuck everyone else. I'm sure Frieza isn't gonna be too confident with that, right?
No, I don't think. Yeah, I agree with you. I wouldn't say that. I'm not sure what Beerus is gonna be, honestly.
Because that's what I think the plan is: keep Goku safe, or keep Goku alive.
I mean, he's their trump card. Goku's that guy who can literally, he might, you know, fuck up a few times. But when things get really, really, really tough, he's the guy you go to. He's like the Michael series, right?
Yeah,
you give him the ball. Current time, you give him the ball. Kobe Bryant, stuff like that. You give him the ball. You want him with the ball. So same thing. If something big happens, I'm sure Goku can pull out. It's just gonna be. I just hope Beerus' strategy. Knowing Beerus, it might be very simplistic. You know, it might just be like, just fucking win. You know, don't get knocked out. You know.
Okay, so this is the plan. Backs. Just win.
You know. Yeah, just win or I'll destroy you. Like, you know, that's it. So you'll face my wrath, and my wrath is much worse than Zeno's or whatever. You know, I don't know, something like that. But I don't know. At this point, I'm not sure what Beerus could possibly be thinking in terms of strategy. I think we're gonna have to see. Obviously, in the previews, it shows his face. He has a very that serious face to him. He's really scoping everything out, trying to see everybody. Yeah. So I think as a result of that, he might tell people, okay, listen up. These are the guys you have to worry about. You see what I'm saying? These are the primary guys you have to worry about. Don't waste your time fighting against weaklings. He'll probably tell Krillin and them to focus on these guys, and Goku, Vegeta focus on those guys over there. Watch out for Universe 11. Watch out for Universe 2, for example, stuff like that. Ergo, why we see Vegeta fighting Ribrianne in the opening intro.
Yeah.
Right. So, and recently, if you go on Twitter, I think Govita XL, amongst other people, did post scans showcasing the actual percentage of each universe that's competing in the tournament. I think Universe 11 was ranked at 90%. Not in terms of victory, like their chance to win, but how much of a threat they are to the other universes or something like that. I'm not sure. Right. A lot of people translated it differently, and if you pay attention, it's actually correlating to their actual mortal ranking once again. Universe 11 was the strongest of the participants, right? So they ranked at 90%. Universe 9 was ranked, I think, 20%. Universe 7 is 30%. Universe 6 is 40%. Universe 4 is 50%. going that way. So I think Beerus is going to look at it from that perspective. It kind of makes sense if you look at it, if you compare the scans to that. So I think that could be it.
Artemis, what do you think Beerus's plan is? Because I think his plan is going to be very simple. Protect Goku. As Emish said, yeah, go for that guy. But primarily, make sure that Goku survives, even if that means you getting thrown out, as long as Goku's in there. Because I'm pretty sure Beerus thinks that Goku's like top-notch Super Saiyan 12 kind of like material that he can just survive by himself. So, like, what do you think Beerus' plan is?
To be honest, I don't really know what Beerus's plan would be. I don't think it would be so suicidal like that, because I feel like Beerus is smarter than that. I feel like that'd be something that Champa would do, like, oh, you know, protect Hit or whoever Champa considers his most valuable fighter. Like, oh, you know, protect this person. Who cares? Make sure that that he's always on top, or make sure that he, you know, he's kept safe, or make him your priority. I feel like that's something that Champa would do. Beerus, I feel like Beerus would probably have the team assign maybe members to help each other, like assign a weakest member to be paired with the strongest member. So maybe Goku would be paired with like Roshi.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like make the weakest link. Stick the strongest fighter with the weakest link. In comprehension to you know, who's weaker than the other. So Piccolo would probably be with maybe TN.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So it can go any way, but that's what I think. I think that's what Beerus's plan would be. That he would take the smart approach, especially with Whis as well. Whis is a very reasonable angel, I feel like. So they would come up with something more intelligent than rather than yeah, just make sure Goku is the only one who's okay, because really,
knowing Beerus, he'd probably do that too.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, because
seeing his performance, man, Beerus is always. I mean, I'm pretty sure Vegeta's gonna be like, whatever, like, I'll show you. But I think through Beerus's head, it's like seeing what we saw with Kaioken and stuff. He doesn't want to fucking lose that. He's gonna be like, yo, protect this guy.
No, I get what you're saying, but I mean, Whis has always been the voice of reason.
Of course, but that's even if Whis even has any say in the matter. Yeah.
That's true. I mean, if Whis doesn't have any say, I don't expect Beerus's plan to be that much better than Champa's, because they are twins.
Champa's gonna be like, everyone just attack Goku or something. Yeah.
And then Beerus is gonna say, everybody attack Hit. You know, like,
yeah, everyone attack Hit.
Yeah, they have the same exact plan, just on opposite sides.
You attack Goku, you attack Hit. Yeah. It could be like a back and forth kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean,
well, I mean, if you look at strategy for like just fights in general, team fights, right? A lot of like just animes or just in general, you always want to take out the support crew first. So if they take out the support crew, not to say that, for example, like Hit needs to support, obviously he would. I don't think they're gonna portray Hit to be like some kind of fucking indestructible force in this tournament. I don't think that's gonna happen. But I think going into a setting like this, you got to take out the legs, right? You always go for the legs. If you fight someone bigger than you, you go for the legs, take them down, then you take advantage of that. So I think that could be an approach too, if anything.
I just really hope that we get something very unexpected happen, in which it will. I mean, Freeze is there, so it's like now more so than ever, you're bound to see like the most craziest things happen. But post your comments down below, guys, in terms of Beerus's plan, overall expectations for the gods to fight. We got tons of content coming out from all three of us this week, guys, so make sure to keep your eye out. If you guys are not subscribed to Emish's Live, subscribe to him, subscribe to DevilArtemis as well. The links will be down below, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you all for watching. If you guys are finally hyped that this tournament is beginning, guys, leave a like down below if you guys are new. Hit that subscribe button, guys, for more news, information, and updates. And on that note, we'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Have a great night, guys. Peace.